This podcast was produced by OAR FM Dunedin with support from New Zealand On Air.
Kia ora katoa, everybody, and welcome to the OI podcast, brought to you by the Otago Institute, which is the Otago branch of the Royal Society New Zealand Te Apirangi. Sorry, I lost where I was there. So, as you can probably tell, this is not Dr. Barb. Dr. Barb's got a terrible cold, so she's at home keeping it to herself. So good on you, Dr. Barb. So you've got Trudy, who's a jack of all trade and master of none, and we're here to share some interesting chats with people from the world of arts, science and Mātauranga Māori. And of course this show is hosted by the wonderful Otago Access Radio, or at 105.4 FM. Also you can find us on Spotify, Apple and wherever else you may get your podcasts from. But you can listen live on or you can download it and listen from Otago Access Radio. So I suggest you have a look there first, really. But today we have in the studio with me Craig Scott from the Tahura, the Otago Museum. So Craig is the head of exhibitions and creative services, but we're not talking about, well, we might just put a wee plug in because there's some really good things on at the museum at the moment. But we're going to talk about GUILD and Dunedin Design Inc. So GUILD, so welcome Craig first.
Kia ora.
And thank you for coming out on what is a bitterly cold day for the 7th or the 8th of August. When did that happen? So it is bitterly cold today, but thank you very much for coming out and talk to us about GUILD. And I found GUILD quite an interesting name because it's quite an old term. When I think about guilds, I think about medieval stonemasons carving huge, churches and bridges and things like that, guilds. And, they're kind of a wee bit like closed shops, stuff like that. So perhaps we could start talking a wee bit about what GUILD is and how it arrived and who it is and what it does.
Absolutely. GUILD's actually been around. We had our 10th birthday in February last year. It was originally started by a group of local designers. Each of them were looking for a retail space within the city, and they couldn't really find anywhere that they could get themselves that would actually make it profitable for them. And they kind of realised they were all looking for the same thing. So it was like, why don't we just band together?
Oh, so they were looking individually?
Yeah.
Ah, right.
And it was like, well, if we can't do it ourselves, how about we just join together, open a store and sell our wares? And over the first sort of year, it kind of just navigated how the whole thing worked. And then following that, that's where Dunedin Design Inc. Came in. So we became an incorporated society.
Right.
And from there, that sort of set the parameters of how GUILD works. So essentially what it is each of the designers rent a space in the store. Then you populate that space. And rather than having a staff member paid, the idea is every time you come and visit, you get to meet a local designer who's made something in the store so that customer can have that interaction with a real person who's actually made something and be able to share the details about the other people's products. And that time is also volunteered as part of the agreement.
Right.
So each designer does like 3.5 hour shift volunteer, and the majority of a sale goes directly back to the maker. So the incorporated society just takes a small percentage, which covers like utilities and packing
and all the admin costs that associate with being an incorporated society, such as having to file returns and keeping your bank account details up to date. She says from having just changed all that for another incorporated society, it's not fun. But so that's so it's kind of like a cooperative. It
is. And we've just got, there's a really good group of people involved. A majority of them have been there from the start. I came in 2017. I said, someone was like, oh, you do some T-shirts, you should sell them in store. And I'm not good at saying no, so I've been stuck there for 10 years.
And you now, actually, we should say the chairperson of Dunedin Design Incorporated.
So I became chairperson in 2019. It was just, we'd closed. The lease came up. We used to be in Moray Place, just where Indigo Rooms opened. And when the lease came up, we decided to move to sort of like this pop-up model, and that didn't really work as we thought it was going to. We had a couple of successful ones, but we realised the general public really just wanted the store back physically to come and meet the designers. So where we are now at 145 Stewart Street, that space opened up, and I think within 3 days we'd got the keys and then fitted out the shop and were open.
Crikey. Right. And 145 Stewart Street, is that lower, upper?
Up lower, just before the Octagon, like next in between, or next to Suburbia.
I know where it is. Yeah.
Opposite the park.
Yeah. So how do you then allocate space?
So,
is it equally allocated, or do you bid, or do you go on a lottery for it?
So that's how the rent sort of is divvied up. So you can either rent a half metre space or a 1 metre space. So that's either a rack or table space. So then we sort of divvy that up, and then if we have additional pop-up guests, sometimes people want to supply some small pieces or artwork. Right. So we'll have a different commission model for that as well, where it's a slightly higher commission, but they don't pay any rent for, say, a picture on the wall.
Oh, okay, yeah. And with a guild, sorry, I've got a bit of a cold myself, but not a bad one. So it's kind of a group of people with like mind, like ethos, want to achieve some similar objectives. So what kind of objectives does Dunedin Design have, or Guild in specific?
So I guess some of thinking back to just having when we renewed the Incorporated Society, all the values and guidelines.
Yes,
I guess the main priority is to be a place to promote Dunedin design and share local designers' stories with not just the local community, but sort of the wider region and New Zealand. We do bring pop-up guests as well in, and there's a slightly different model for that. But that's kind of a way to keep stock fresh and just bring something new in occasionally. Right. So, and expose a local audience to something new, but they're obviously promoting that they're at Guild in their circles outside of Dunedin, so that sort of gets the word out there as well.
And, of course, there'll be an international market, given your location, that you're hoping to attract as they wander up from the railway station. Yeah.
I remember one of my favourite moments was there was it must have been Christmas Eve, and there was a cruise ship couple sort of walked up and saw this beautiful necklace of Chris Idol's in the window, and he walked in and he was like, let's see if the credit card works, and a couple of $1,000 later.
So how do they have to apply and meet some sort of criteria, or just...
So it was part of the executive group for DDI, we call it Dunedin Design Inc. Basically, the people can express an interest, and we'll kind of take that to the group and sort of assess it across a different matrix of values, and then also kind of look at what else is in store, how that product might have worked in the past from someone else, just to kind of gauge to make sure it's going to be the right fit, because obviously each person who takes part is having to pay a bit of rent for space, so we want to make sure that they do get maximum value for being in there, and that we're not just trying to take their rent sort of thing if we know it's not quite going to be the right fit. And we're also happy to if it isn't the right fit, recommend other places that could be good for them too. Right. There's a lot of other little really unique places around the city that it could be the right fit as well.
Because you want complementary things and not necessarily directly competitive.
I guess, and that's probably where the museum side of things come in as well, in terms of it's almost you're curating the store in a way to make sure it's the right experience for the visitor.
Right. So I've got links to Guild and Dunedin Design on the sheet that goes with the podcast. So how many artists have you got currently?
We have 14 full-time or resident designers, we call them. And then at the moment, I think we've got maybe another 10 pop-up guests. And some of those are more long-term pop-ups who keep selling well, so they just stay on a bit longer for another month. Normally when someone starts, we'll recommend they do a 1 to 2 month pop-up just to see how it goes, and then they can sort of reassess from there if it's worth the further investment or whether, it was a good experiment. And
Right, because the fit not only has to work for the cooperative, but it has to work for the artist as well, because you might find, it's like anything that it didn't necessarily pan out the way you thought it was going to. Yeah. So what kind of products have you got?
We've got everything from fashion, jewellery, homewares and ceramics, to art prints, fragrance and soaps, body care, bags, really cool bags from the sort of vinyl leather ones, and also some leather goods as well. So there is quite a big range, yeah.
And do people bring new product in on a regular basis, or?
Yeah, because the resident designers are doing their shift every week, normally they'll just bring stock in as they go. So in terms of like inventory management, Guild itself doesn't have any products. Each of the designers manages their own products, and we have a very lovely manual sales sheet that then I enter into a Google sheet in the weekend when I'm doing my shift and, and pass it on to the accountant.
Because and as an artist, you'd want your product to sell because you don't want it sitting there just gathering dust because you're still paying rent and all that kind of stuff. And then you also want to kind of refresh your creativity, I guess, in a way as well, and that give you an idea of what's selling and what isn't.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's something I've also learned sort of more recently with some of the museum stuff as well. We've been working on updating our shop and seeing how we're looking at the products and analysing the data from there. I'm actually thinking about my own stuff that I have in there. I'm like, I actually should think a bit more about my strategy of how I'm doing my own products and stuff as well.
Well, while we're talking about your products, we might as well give a shout out. So you've got an interesting label. You might want to share with the listeners what that is.
So my personal label is Self-Destruct Studio. I called it that because I thought I could, if I wanted to stop the brand, I could just stop the brand and it could self-destruct.
That's right. Very clever.
And I also do some screen printed stuff, and over time, depending on the style that I do, some of the paint can sort of have this wash effect. So it's like the design almost self-destructs over time as well. Yeah.
Cool. I don't know if I think that much about when I buy stuff, but I get where you're coming from. That's very clever.
And I do have another brand there too, which me and my friend Dallas Sinnott have had together over the last year and a half, 2 years. Awful Things is our brand. And that started out of a project that was one of the sort of side activations for ID Fashion Week that was in the off year, and we activated a vacant space within George Street and set up a shop. We invited 40 local artists and designers and gave them a brief where it could only be coloured black. So it was kind of a nod to the uti-puti Dunedin Gothic aesthetic and kind of, just a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And we fitted the whole space out with like black walls. So we turned a white space into like just black rubbish bags and created this whole environment. Gave people little torches if they were hard of seeing something to light it up. And that was really successful. And we'd made our own line of merch from that as well. So that we had stuff left because we were only open for one weekend. So that moved that into Guild as well as a rental space. So yeah, we've got 2 brands in there, and we've just got some new candles in there too that we've done. So, which is kind of aligns with Self-Destruct too, because candles disappear over time.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. So instead of these are a few of my favourite things, these are a few of my awful things.
Exactly.
Yes, which would be another dark side of Sound of Music. So Self-Destruct, fascinating. And who else? Like, these tourists who bought this necklace. So how much was Chris there when they bought it?
No, Chris wasn't there, but I think as well that was something that was in the window. But people do take note of when each designer is in there. So I can give a shout out of who's there when.
Yes, go for it. Yeah.
Start the week out. We've got on the Monday morning we've got Dallas Cunningham from Auntie Fashion Label. In the afternoon, we've got Denise McMahon from Art for Busy People. She's one of our newer full-timers, and she makes these beautiful packages that come with all the materials. And she's an art teacher, and it comes with these wee videos that are accessible via a special QR code once you've purchased it, and it guides you through doing all this just little creative art pieces, and it's intended just to be like this calming wellness box.
Right.
And you don't need to be an artist to do it. I've given it to friends and they've loved it. But so that's Monday. And Tuesday we've got jeweller Susan Vidler and then Karen from 3 Cups of Tea on. Wednesday morning is Chris Idor with his jewellery. Wednesday afternoon's Ruth Napper with her jewellery. And then Thursday morning is Pia Davey, who does beautiful art prints and original paintings, a lot of St Clair and native wildlife themes. And Thursday afternoon is Elsa from Finicia, which is soaps, body butters, lip gloss, and also a really stunning range of fragrances. And also available, she does sort of bespoke workshops where you can create your own fragrance, and they're held in store on the weekends after hours. That's, if anyone's looking for a cool, fun gift for something to do with a friend, that's a possibility. And then on Friday we've got Monica from the Slow Game fashion label, and in the afternoon is Tegan Vickery with her fashion label Tegan. And on Saturday it's usually someone filling in in the morning, and then I'm on in the afternoon with my stuff, which I don't think I actually said, but it's screen printed T-shirts, garments, and art prints and little greeting cards, which are all illustrated by me.
Oh, lovely. So you've got them grouped into themes, so like jewellery, fashion, art, smelly stuff, homeware, that kind of stuff. Yeah, cool. And so where did you pick up your screen printing? Did you do that locally or?
I do it all in my kitchen.
No, but where did you learn the technique?
We did a screen printing course as part of my communication design degree at Polytech. And then it just happened a friend had a spare screen and they were like, here you go. And then I just do hand-cut paper stencils. So I don't do the photo emulsion, so it's all literally hand-cut designs. And then with any leftover ink, after you've done a few passes, I'll then literally brush something onto a garment. So it's usually a face. To make something a bit more arty and freestyle and not to waste any paint.
And you do this in your kitchen?
In the kitchen, yes.
Oh, yes. Do you live on your own? Sorry,
no.
You don't answer that. You must have
There's housemates and a dog.
Yeah. So that's quite interesting because the Polytech, they actually do a 10-week, or it's only an 8-week, printmaking course. It's on Wednesday mornings or Wednesday evenings. And so, I've just started and I've got absolutely no skill, but that's all right. I'm enjoying the technique. So it's quite interesting that these kind of little things connect. So we've got the Polytech and the art school, which is, I must admit, is amazing. They've got all the gear and you can do this course and learn their techniques and develop your skill, whatever. But at the same time, then we've got GUILD or Dunedin Design, where you then can take your products and if you meet, if it's a good fit, because everything has to be a good fit otherwise.
Kind of, I guess another one in terms of the values of DDI and having in GUILD is we are really supportive of up-and-coming designers, and that's a really good space for them to test their ideas. We've done a few pop-ups in the past with the product design students. So during the term, they've had a brief to propose a product for GUILD and then sort of see it through the conceptual process. And then at the end, they have an exhibition in GUILD where they can literally sell their products. And along the way, I'll go into their class to do a couple of check-in mentor sessions just to give them feedback from the GUILD side of things. So I've bought a few nice products myself from those, and it's kind of it was funny. I was there was one who was designing these shelves, and I was like, you should make sure it's the right size to fit vinyl records.
Yes.
And so now I've got a really cool shelf to hold my vinyl.
Well, it's kind of what was it? Yeah, this is what I want. Make it for me. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so what else about GUILD?
I guess it's kind of interesting in the current retail environment how shops and stuff are doing. And I think if we didn't operate under the model that we do, I don't think we would actually be still trading as such. Because we have the volunteering of the staff time and those, it's only the rent and utilities that we're covering, which can basically, it's run as a not-for-profit society, so we are basically breaking even. But it's kind of interesting looking at the overall sales from the last 10 years. Sales have grown over by $100,000 within that time. And the last sort of 3 year-on-year have been the record on year-on-record of sales, which is really promising. And I think it's quite a indicative of people wanting to support local designers and wanting to get that quality product that is made locally, that's not just something from, say, Temu. And I know there's a lot of those conversations going around at the moment, especially in terms of like fashion, with a lot of fashion designers out that have been sort of closing down and winding up, just in terms of the viability. So yeah, I think that's a really interesting way that we're sort of this sort of more collaborative, low-key model in a way. I guess it's all very sort of chill, and if you put it in a way, it's like we just get on and do stuff and have our things. So yeah, it's nice to see that that's working and the community are recognising it and supporting it.
Yeah, I think that's really important because, you know, I think there's a place for both. There's stuff I might, not that I've ever bought anything from Temu, I don't think, but I might buy from there. But then on the other times I do, you know, there's something about going shopping, even window shopping. It's about going to town and looking at the products. And if you think about it, the market's been around since Adam was a kid in short pants. You know, we always want to exchange goods, whether for money or barter or however you do it. And I think there is I suppose, a bit of a worry. I don't know how big it is, but, you know, that it's all going to be online shopping. Well, here's a place for some stuff, especially stuff you can't get locally, if you know, if I have a particular product and I'm normally after a particular book, which I can't find anywhere. But you know, there are other things you want to go and you actually want to see and you want to experience, because shopping is an experience in some ways.
Kind of an interesting point as well. We did start a web store back around COVID time just because that was what everyone was doing. But in the last sort of 2 years, because it is all run as a collective and it's all volunteer time, the operation of uploading products, managing products, especially when there's no digital inventory system, if something sells in store and then someone buys online, how does that work?
Right,
So we looked at the core value of Guild is getting to meet the designer face-to-face, have a conversation. So we haven't really no longer have an online store. So people can reach out to us, like someone did this week, flicked us an email or message on Instagram, and we can organise something to be sent. But the online stuff isn't what it's about. It's less about the transaction and more about the interpersonal experience. Yeah,
and I think that's and it's an owner operated model. So you've got skin in the game because you want to sell your product. So you're there and you're interacting directly with your customers and where you get the value from isn't from selling your labour to sell goods. It's from So I think it's quite a different model. And and while we're talking about Guild, that, as you said before, they're not the only place in Dunedin that does this. So there are numerous places out there. So we don't want to be seen as advertising, but it's just a way to showcase it. There are these different operating models out there, and so if you want to go and buy something local, then you need to get out on your feet and wander around and see what's out there. Yeah.
And it's surprising, when I'm there on Saturdays, I always see quite a few parks outside, so that if you're looking for a park, there will be one there.
Not on Saturday mornings, because that's when I walk past to go get my Saturday morning brunch at another local place, which since they haven't come on the radio, I shouldn't name them. No. I have gone in there quite. Could you take, like, if you got something you wanted made, could you go in and then talk to the artist?
Yeah, absolutely. The different designers usually do commissions or specific pieces. I know Dallas, people from Auntie, she'll have customers contact her and she'll work with them closely to get them to come around to her studio in St Clair and like look at fabrics and what sort of feels best and fits right, and then she can make something bespoke from that and then sell it through via Guild. Same with Chris Idor and a lot of the jewellers there as well, Susan and Ruth. They will, customer will come in and they'll have an idea for something and they'll, I think, I know Susan recently did a commission for someone, I think maybe in Australia, who had bought a piece of hers for their wife and then wanted one for a newer anniversary. And so she was able to connect through that and make that happen for them.
So once again, you can have a look at what they have on offer on their link in the program. What do you call it, Tommy? Program sheet. It's all right. Just asking the producers right here with me. So it's fascinating, the website, and you can see what they have and who they are and what they do. So that's the other thing. Often if you go into other shops or you buy online, you have no interaction with who's made it, the craft person. Yeah.
I always find it interesting if someone sort of like wanders over and spends a bit of time at my rack or looking at something, you kind of like just wait to see what their reaction is, and then you're like, that's really, I made that. And then they're like, that starts a bit of a conversation, and it's kind of, it's funny.
I hope they buy it, because it would be a wee bit soul destroying. Well,
that's sometimes why I'm like hesitant to say I made it, because then I'm like, I don't want them to feel pressured.
But it'd be worse if they, that's crap. But then taste, as they say, is in the mouth
subjective,
sometimes. It's very subjective. Cool. And so you were saying Dunedin Design, and it's been around for quite some time. So
about the same time as Guild, so just over 10 years. And basically it is just a way to make sure the operation of Guild, because the Incorporated Society essentially acts as a person. There is it's not like any one of us are individually responsible if everything goes wrong.
Right, the society does.
Society legally, yeah.
So it gives them a legal... Yeah. And does you support anybody else besides Guild?
So no, not at the moment. We have looked at doing other projects as such, but Guild's sort of the core focus for the group that we have. A lot of the committee is all part of the shop as well.
Right.
So, and everyone's like busy with their own things as well. So it's sort of the key focus. But if something other opportunity did come up, we'd be open to exploring, promoting other ways of Dunedin design.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the Otago Institute, we're also an Incorporated Society, and I know what you mean. The people who are on the committee are also on the Incorporated Society, and so and I suppose it's true to be registered and recognised as a Incorporated Society. You've got to keep your core values, otherwise you go outside that and then you spread yourself too thinly and it falls over and then it just becomes an awful mess. Yeah. And so I suppose one of the largest costs when you do anything like this is, of course, rent. Mm-hmm. So do you have a really good relationship with your landlord? We were actually just closed recently for 3 weeks. There's a new premises opened upstairs from us, and some work had to happen to the building, which meant the ceiling had to be lowered just for fire protection stuff. Yeah. So that was actually like a good opportunity to have a wee conversation.
Break and conversation, but also a good time for us to like clear some stuff out and have a bit of a refresh. Paint the walls and just do some new shelving. So that was nice, and the landlord was like totally supportive with helping out with all that. So he's really good.
Because that's something that you couldn't do individually, but as a collective you could do.
Exactly, yeah. And I think because we've also been there in this premises for just over 6 years now, maybe we're going, actually might be in our 8th year.
Oh, right.
It's been, I guess, the way we've been operating and going from strength to strength still, it's kind of, I guess, a positive sign for them too.
Yes, exactly. They know they're going to get this income. Yeah, so why do you want to gamble on a good thing?
Yeah.
Well, you should gamble on a good thing, but you know what I mean. So anything else coming up in the Guild? You got any pop-ups coming up? Or
we've got a new pop-up at the moment who's recently just started from Christchurch, actually, Botanic Skin. It's these really... botanical oil facial cleansers. There's like a morning routine and an evening routine. They're worth coming in to have a wee check out. They're all really reasonably priced as well, so I'd really recommend having a look at those. And I know there are some perfume fragrance workshops coming up, so there's still some bookings available for spots in those. So I think that's something kind of cool. And then obviously we're still planning ahead in advance for who we're going to sort of have in store around the Christmas
of course.
end of year time, which is always the busiest time of year.
Right.
So just making sure we've got full sort of roster of. We've had a sort of like our festive designers who come in for those. We've got a couple of card makers and calendars and that sort of thing will be coming back.
Yeah, I had a friend who used to do painted boxes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But so I think they would be popular in the festive season for something nice like that to put your gifts in. But so it's quite a bit of advanced planning then required.
And then on top of that, there's there's that planning and coordinating all the different potential designers. There's also the likes of keeping up like the social media content and advertising. So I do all that as well. So I've kind of my wee routine where I get home, take off my shoes, do my wee post for Guild, and then go and carry on with the rest of my evening.
Yeah, I don't think people appreciate how involved it is in promoting or just running, even if it was just your own business, a small business going. And it's especially with we primarily use Instagram, and then just obviously it shares to Facebook. But it's interesting seeing the insights and what resonates with people now that you can get sort of all that data around how many views, how many likes, and seeing the breakdown of age and where people are looking and the type of stuff that will somehow skyrocket the views compared to other things that we post. That's interesting seeing how that works. So how can you tell whether they're skyrocketed for a good reason or a bad one? Can you look at the comments or something as well?
Not necessarily the comments, but I think a lot of the time if we post sort of a design with, say, a product in it that's more just a solo product shot, that'll have less engagement than, say, a profile picture, a picture of one of the designers, because it seems the algorithm, I think, realizes it's a person rather than a product. Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. But if there's people in it, it gets more views.
More views. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So when you like something on Instagram, it'll tell the Instagram poster something about you then?
Not necessarily. If it would group the whole, out of all of the likes and all of the interactions, this is the average age, this is the average demographic type thing, yeah.
Oh, that's quite interesting as well, because as a business owner, that would be useful information.
Yeah, especially in terms of potential pop-ups. If you have things skewing towards, say, a specific audience or gender or demographic, then it might, be okay, well, then we should do more of that. Or focus more on products like this and designers like this. So, it's kind of interesting. I was going to say it's funny as well, the couple of times even this week, something that I've posted, I've noticed when the next day or two is actually sold. So it's good to see that in that conversion as well, that what's being posted is then selling.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, I could see how that would be really helpful. Yeah. I have to watch what I like on Instagram from now on. I'll be throwing everybody's stats out. Okay. I never thought about it like that. Yeah. I can see how that would be useful, because some people are quite protective of their personal information, but it's not. It's just grouped out, aggregated. Yeah. Okay, I have to think about that a bit more. So Instagram's your preference. So it seems to be a never-ending new thing, like these threads and something else. I just stick to something simple, because otherwise, do you think the message might get diluted if you have it on too many platforms? I think
it depends who you're trying to reach, really.
Right.
I think a lot of our audience probably is more on Instagram or Facebook. And I notice even there's a lot more of a push to use reels and video content a lot more, but that takes time, and it's kind of getting that balance of what is going to work for the business, but what's also going to work for the person who's doing it.
Because remember, it's your time.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is
It'd be different perhaps if it was like a paid position where someone's actively getting paid to
do it.
be promoting something. But whereas, it's we're just doing our best.
Well, it looks very good, actually, I have to say. So once again, click on the Guild and you'll find them on the website or on Instagram. And there's some beautiful bits there. Like I'm looking at a jacket. Is that a skirt and a blouse? Beautiful jewellery, I have to say. And lovely screen printed shirts and earrings and all sorts of stuff. So, yeah, well worth having a look. And as well as Guild, the other pop-up shops or little Dunedin-focused local outlets that are out there, which I think are really valuable. Yeah. And I suppose the big one that we're all probably at the back of our minds is what's happening with the USB, the bookshop. Yeah, but I have to say that, well, I'm going to say it anyway, that, given it's run by the OUSA, I think that's a business decision they've obviously made, but I just still think people must be curious about what's happening there and what's driving it all, and then that might also have impacts on what happens with the museum shop.
Yes, true.
Is that a nice segue, or?
We've got some new books in the shop at the moment. But yes, obviously, the 9 to 5 of the work week is my time at the museum. So I can give you some updates on what's happening around there if you like.
We might as well, yeah.
If you listen to the Friends Forever podcast on ORFM, the physical exhibition has just opened yesterday, and so that's now up on Atrium Level 2, and that's a sort of really nice overarching history of the first 100 years of the Friends.
You mean the Friends of the Museum?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. I was moving from New York sitcoms to where are we going? Yeah.
So the Friends of the Museum exhibition is also called Friends Forever. So it's not just about the past 100 years, it's their ongoing relationship. And it features some items in display cases as well that have been purchased by the Friends of the Museum over the last 100 years that have been then put into the permanent collection. So we've got a huge range of there's sort of ceramics and jewellery. Kind of, it's like this kind of sounds like Guild.
Yeah.
But also a bust of Nefertiti, so you wouldn't find that there. And a
replica.
Helmet and some furniture and an axe that's used to sacrifice animals. So there's a wide range of things on display. Oh, and a shadow puppet.
Oh, fascinating. Yeah. So that's stuff that the museum has in storage. But
yes, but it was sourced through the Museum Friends group. Yes. Yeah.
Well, that's a nice way to display some oddity of collectibles.
Yeah.
That sound quite fascinating.
And there's a wee gallery trail as well that you can then take around the rest of the museum where it highlights different objects that are already on display that have been donated by the Friends over the years.
And so tell us a bit more about the Friends. Is it a large group or?
I think currently there's 214. But yeah, I reckon if you click, you'll be able to find all about it if you click over onto the Friends Forever podcast.
Oh, true. I never thought about that. Yeah.
But yeah, so they've been doing a series of podcasts throughout the year. I think the 100th anniversary was in April, and so there's a program of things throughout the year, and the opening of the exhibition yesterday was another continuation of that.
And so did you curate that? Or?
No, so it was curated by Nancy Longnecker.
Who's a member of the OI.
Yeah. And then
shout out to Nancy, sorry. Yeah.
And then I worked with Tim Still on the design for it because the Friends group helped with the concept for that, and then myself with the collections team then put it all together on display. That was a sort of a wee sort of gallery, I guess, atrium intervention.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. And so what else? I was looking at the website today thinking I really must get myself organised. Like Dark Side of the Moon sounds exciting.
Yes, there's a few limited runs of the Pink Floyd show coming back. I think it's Saturday afternoons for the next month from 3:30, I believe. So that's, the celebrating the 50th anniversary of Dark Side of the Moon. So it's this 45-minute visual experience under the planetarium dome. So part psychedelic, part encapsulating. People seem to just love it. So
psychedelic and Pink Floyd and the Dark Side of the Moon.
Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, Saturday afternoon might be a bit early, but mind you, yeah. No, that sounds really quite exciting as well. And is there anything new coming up that you can share with us?
Well, if you've seen our socials lately, you would have seen something big is coming. So there's a new exhibition that is opening in September. You might be able to gather what it's about from the imagery, but it's not 100% given away yet, I don't believe. So keep an eye out on that. And in mid-September as well, we're working with Art Centre on creating an exhibition to celebrate the 40 years of Art Centre. We're working really closely with them. They've been the artists have been working away, creating new pieces that'll go on display in the exhibition. It'll be in the beautiful science gallery, so there will be a strong projection element to it as well. So they're working away, developing a number of sort of video installations that will be displayed that sort of tell the history of Art Centre and sort of the history of some of the artists involved and all this sort of stories around it. So there's going to be a really beautiful display. So, looking forward to seeing that all come together. And then we're working away on something for ID Fashion Week next year too.
Oh, very nice. Art Centre, 40 years. It's amazing how long these things have been around for. And you've got James Bond.
James Bond? Oh, is that in the planetarium? So the planetarium is a nice versatile space, so it's not just for movies and things about stars. You can do a lot of other things in there. So there'll be different film screenings. Just announced today as well, there is a special show next Thursday evening, which is only being shown at the 3 planetariums in New Zealand. So at Te Hura, at Space Place, and at Te Whatu Stardome in Auckland. And it's a 52-minute visual film to coincide with the new Phoebe Bridgers album release. It's been specifically designed for this album experience, so that will be available. Tickets have gone on sale this morning for that. So there's 2 screenings of that, I believe, one at 5:30 and one at 7:30.
Correct. Well done. So that's fantastic. I didn't realise there's only 3 planetariums in New Zealand. And
there's a little sort of pop-up one, and you can get the wee sort of inflatable ones. But in terms of the actual
space,
physical big spaces,
Oh, cool. I forgot what I was going to say. I got distracted by Phoebe Bridgers and Lost Weekend Planetarium experience. So this is all at your local museum, the Otago Museum. So while it's based in Dunedin, it is for Otagoites and anybody else who wants to come and visit, of course. Yes. Do people have to pay to go to access the museum generally?
Not for only international visitors.
Right.
There's a ticket charge for internationals. Yes, but everything else is free. But if you want to go to the Te Hura Science Centre, Planetarium, and the Tropical Forest, that's part of a ticketed experience.
Right,
but all the museum galleries are free. You can go and check out the beautiful new Tangata Moana that opened in June.
I want to go see that.
For 18 months.
Yeah.
There's a beautiful carpet by Ana Teofilo.
Oh, nice.
It's been really well received, so it's been really cool working with the community on that space.
It will be, because I must admit, as much as I enjoyed it, it was rather dated.
When we took the middle section out, behind it was written on the back of the wall that someone had signed it in 1962.
Right.
That was pretty much when it was built and had stayed pretty much exactly the same.
The same since then.
Yeah.
Good things take time. Yeah. And sometimes they get better as they get older, but I think that it's an interesting question, as we learn more about cultures and how we interact with different cultures, how do museums stay relevant?
I think museums have to be sort of part of the conversation with the communities to be able to understand how to adapt. They can't do that and make a decision in isolation. So it is being connected, which is part of, I guess, the core sort of values of what museums should be doing anyway. So obviously our museum Te Hura has Te Pai Arahi, which is like Māori Advisory Committee,
Right.
And we have sort of our Pacific engagement coordinators. So it's just connecting with the community in that way. But it's only going to get, I guess, more important as time goes on as well. There's like museums that obviously some of them are very sort of like set in of their time.
Right, yes.
And so, like some of the longer galleries, for example. So obviously in our strategic plan, some of the next sort of steps are for the redevelopment of tangata whenua, because it's I think that the end of this year it's coming up to the 40th anniversary of the Te Māori exhibition.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of
Time flies.
and a lot of that is now in the current tangata whenua, so it's sort of just how we reflect on that and what the next steps are.
Because I suppose a lot of museums were established at a certain point in time, and so they carry that ethos with them, and it's about how you change that. I'm thinking about Elgin Marbles and, of course, the British Museum. It's so much. But then we've got bits that there might be cultures around the world that might want back.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
That's part of like an ongoing conversation. Yeah.
Because then if we didn't have these collections and the stuff might have been lost, I suppose that's one of those questions or discussions there's really no answer to. But
I guess, there's obviously a lot of different perspectives on it as well. So, there's a lot of, it's a good conversation to get stuck into.
yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, the museums aren't as dull, dry or dusty as people might think they are. I'm sure they must be hot spots for debate about certain aspects, I can well imagine. Yeah. Curious. Right. So what else is going on in your world?
What else? I'm trying to think. Actually, the exhibition that we're working on for next year is one that I can probably talk about because we know ID's coming up anyway. But we're working on this show called Extension, and it's kind of it's an extension of an idea we had sort of 10 years ago with an exhibition we did. And we've invited close to 50 participants from around the world who have been either within the ID Emerging Designer finalists,
Right.
or whether they've been involved in the ID whānau in some way throughout the years. So we've reached out to them and they've been able to choose a piece from the museum's textile collection, and they're going to be generating a new piece inspired by that garment. And then they will be displayed together. in an exhibition. But some designers have chosen the same item.
Oh.
So it's going to be really interesting to see how different designers interpret different garments. And there's a lot of different responses to one object that's been chosen. One response is being a hat, one is a trench coat, and one is a painting. So they'll all be able to sit in this really nice conversation.
That would be fascinating, actually. Yeah.
So I guess the overarching theme is it's not necessarily inspiration, but it's more like connectedness and seeing how all these separate things end up
generating these ideas from different people,
And that's kind of going to lean into how we physically design the space too. It's almost like there's this, I'm kind of, in my mind, it's like a brain at the moment where it's like this centralized thing that then all these little nodes come out of, and then
like a mind map.
Yes, kind of, yeah. So that's the current working plan in my mind.
Because it's quite interesting, because then that would physically depict how different people interact with objects.
Exactly.
Same object, but in a different way.
Yeah. So, it's a very interesting one to look at. And some of the designers that we've got, I think, maybe 8 different countries people will be submitting stuff from. So the majority are from New Zealand and Dunedin, but we've also got designers from Australia, the UK, England and Scotland, Peru, USA, Taiwan, Singapore, Bangladesh. Yeah.
Oh, fascinating, because there could be cultural aspects to how they view objects as well as individual
Yeah.
perceptions. Yeah. Oh, that sounds really exciting. We'll have to get you back to talk about that.
Yes, definitely. No, there's been lots of cool connections sort of figured with that one as well. There was one of the local designer put me onto someone else to reach out to see if they wanted to take part. And then it turned out he knew someone whose father designed one of the garments in the booklet they got to choose from.
Really?
So it was like, do you want me to reach out to put you in touch with them? I was like, yes, please. So that's, there's like all these other little connections that have happened behind the scenes as well, which has been really beautiful.
I can see why you think of it as a brain, because it's like these neurons fizzing around, connecting people all around the place. Yeah.
As to how that physically comes to life in an exhibition space, watch this space.
Well, yeah. We'll get you back to talk about how you manage that, which I'm sure you'll do marvellously, but yes, about how you take that stuff that's in your head and actually turn it into something physical. Yeah. That you must be an exciting part of your role, I would have thought.
Yeah, it's definitely. And I guess some of that then, that's probably where almost a circle back to Guild is why I like doing that as well, like not just when I go home, I can create something else that doesn't need to fit within the work context.
Yeah.
I can, kind of do something crazy or weird.
Yeah,
and,
without any boundaries,
Yeah.
either physically or...
I don't have to sell it in the museum shop, I can just sell it in a different shop.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter, as long as I like it, I don't have to...
It just keeps that like creative process going that then helps inform then my professional creative process as well.
Yes, because you don't want one bit to dry up because then it'll impact on the other bit.
So it's creating that balance.
Yeah, because you can't totally separate work and life because they do impact on each other. So it's about how you manage the impact or use it to your advantage, I would have thought.
Exactly.
So, I know that's quite cool. Yeah. Right, any last words?
I think just make sure next time you're walking down Stewart Street, stop in Guild. If it's Saturday afternoon, come and say hi because I'll be there. Otherwise any other time you'll get to meet a fabulous local creative. Yeah,
and please do check it out. Check out any of the other local shops that are supporting local artists and buy New Zealand made, buy Dunedin made, there's a time and there's a space for all kinds of different interactions of shoppers and producers and stuff like that. So thank you very much, Craig, for coming today. It's been marvellous. And with some exciting exhibitions on at the museum currently, but also coming up and pop-ups. And yes, not long now before we'll be into that Christmas shopping mode. So watch out those different little shops of things that you might want to buy for your loved one. So thank you again, Otago Access Radio 105.4 FM, or you can listen to us on Spotify, Apple, wherever else you listen to your podcasts. Mate wā, everybody.
You've been listening to the OI Podcast, the shout-out for the arts, sciences and mataranga Māori.
You can support this podcast by becoming a member of the OI. Check out the Otago Institute for Arts and Sciences on Facebook or our website.
If you'd like to listen again to this episode or others from the series, look for the OI Podcast on OAR FM's website, oar.org.nz.
Brought to you by the Otago Institute for Arts and Sciences, the Otago branch of the Royal Society of New Zealand.
This podcast was produced by OAR FM Dunedin with support from New Zealand On Air.